Imagine you're walking to your car after class. As you reach for the door handle, somebody suddenly grabs your arm. Your heart begins racing. Your breathing changes. Your vision narrows. Every decision you make over the next few seconds could determine whether you make it home safely. Most of us hope we will never experience violence. But if that day ever comes, the quality of our training, not our confidence, will determine how truly prepared we are. Not all self-defense training is equally effective. Consumers should seek instruction rooted in pressure-tested martial arts that regularly incorporate realistic, resistance-based training. Over the course of about 6 years, I'm retired now, I spent significant time training across multiple martial arts disciplines to include Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, judo, Muay Thai, boxing, kickboxing, and even Krav Maga. While each art has its unique strengths, my experience is consistently aligned with research showing that effective self-defense depends on both practical systems and realistic training methods. In addition to my own experience, I'm going to share with you research from the Department of Justice, the FBI, Tactical Science, the Police Executive Research Forum, the Violence Policy Center, and the Center for Violence Prevention and Self-Defense Training. During this presentation, I will explore the following: what violence actually looks like, both externally and internally, the differences between practical, pressure-tested martial arts and flashy, demonstrative martial arts, and how to choose a better training academy and the cost of choosing poorly. What does violence actually look like, and how does it impact the body? Well, first, we have to look at how it occurs. Per the Office of Justice Programs of the Department of Justice, in 2021, 2.7 million people were victims of violent crime in the United States alone. What people should understand is that violence generally happens quickly, and it only lasts a few moments of time. But the results can be truly devastating, leading to injury, trauma, loss of property, or worse. What happens to your body when this violence occurs? Per the Violence Policy Center, the fight or flight response brings about an enormous surge of adrenaline, with side effects that include the loss of fine motor skills, tunnel vision, auditory exclusion, trembling, and more. If you've ever been so angry that your body ran cold and your teeth chattered and your blood pressure skyrocketed, you've likely experienced a small version of a fight or flight response. Now take that response and crank it to 11. During this response, the body will fall back on its most basic gross motor skills and instincts. These are the things that are easy to perform, are rooted in your nervous system as an instinctual response, and can be done without thinking. Now that I've shown you what violence looks like and how the body responds to it, I will explore the differences between schools of instruction and how they teach self-defense. What do different schools do to prepare their students for self-defense situations? On one hand, you have programs emphasizing flashy demonstrations over resistance. These programs focus on small joint manipulation, demonstration with cooperative opponents, and movements that are difficult to perform under pressure. If you've ever watched an old Bruce Lee movie, you've seen the type of made-for-TV flash that I'm talking about. Per the Center for Violence Prevention and Self-Defense Training, these traditional self-defense training programs tend to perpetuate this one-size-fits-all approach. On the other hand, however, you have programs emphasizing practicality over demonstrative flash. These programs incorporate sparring, high-stress training, and are highly favored both by military and law enforcement for their practicality specifically. Per Tactical Science, research shows that law enforcement officers, on average, perform significantly better when well-trained in practical martial arts than with no martial arts at all. And while some martial arts are better than none, the more practical and stress-tested, the better the real-time performance. Now, if law enforcement agencies and military are willing to stake their lives on it, shouldn't you? Now that I've spoken about the differences between the types of schools and how they teach, I'm going to look at how consumers should evaluate training programs and the cost of choosing poorly. Consumers should evaluate self-defense training before trusting it with their lives. The big question every prospective student should ask: does this training resemble the real world? Full stop. If the answer is no, find a new academy. The Police Executive Research Forum argues that police training and training in general should be realistic, have integrated decision making, and be repeatable, and not done in an isolated classroom or demonstration style format. If the training that is offered does not meet those minimum standards, you should not spend your money or time there. Of course, there is a cost to choosing poorly. Choosing an academy that relies on teaching flashy demonstrations and kata over practical training leads to false confidence, which can cause you harm. Per the FBI's law enforcement bulletin, training that merely checks the box without preparing people realistically can set them up for failure and potentially loss of life. As I conclude, I'd like to leave you with one final thought about what effective self-defense training truly means. We first talked about what real-world violence often looks like and how our bodies naturally respond under extreme stress. We then compared the characteristics of ineffective self-defense programs with those of practical, pressure-tested martial arts. Finally, we discussed what type of question every potential student should ask and what it could cost them when choosing poorly. I hope that if any of you ever decide to invest your time, money, and trust into learning self-defense, you'll take a few extra minutes to evaluate the school before enrolling. Ask questions, observe a class, find out whether students regularly train against realistic resistance. Your safety is too important to leave to marketing claims or flashy demonstrations. So once again, imagine you're walking to your car tonight and someone suddenly grabs your arm. In that moment, your training won't rise to the occasion. It will fall to the level of how you practiced. So if you ever choose to learn self-defense, don't ask what looks impressive in a demonstration. Ask what still works when reality doesn't cooperate. Because when your safety depends on it, reality is the only test that matters.